Good?
Yep.
All right, I'll call this meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah.
Okay, first up, approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting of May 10th, 2021.
I move to approve. Second.
It has properly been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from May 10th. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Minutes pass. All right. Approval of general fund vouchers 78641 through 78738 and wire transfers 2021045 through 2021056 voiding 2021047.
I move to approve. Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to approve the general fund vouchers and the wire transfers. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Public comments on agenda item. Anything?
No.
Okay, next. New business. Approval of resignations.
Okay, we have a couple resignations I put in the notes. We have Sandra Larson, the elementary support staff. She decided to retire after 9 years of service, so I'd like to thank her for her years of service and wish her the best in retirement. She was also part of the retirement celebration that we had at the end of the year. Marisa Berg, junior, senior high, and elementary choir resignation. Candace McHugh, special ed at the elementary resignation. And Mindy Shoup, elementary Title I resignation. I'd like to thank those three individuals for their time and service in the Clear Lake District as well. And their letters of resignation are included in the packets.
I move to approve the retirement and resignations. Second.
It has been properly moved and then seconded to approve the resignations that Josh stated. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of the resignations. All right, next, approval of the hires.
Okay, so we have one right now. We have a couple positions that we're in the process of hiring, but right now we have Jessica Knutson, junior senior high math position here. So she's accepted the position.
Move to approve the hire. Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to approve the new hire. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hire is approved. Approval of the 2020-2021 WIA membership.
Okay, so each year the board approves the participation in WIA membership. We do the middle level, the junior high membership renewal, and then the senior high membership renewal, and then I indicated the sports that we have in the Clear Lake School District here. They're indicated by the checkbox. So there's just one missing, which you'll see an X by that one rather than a check mark.
Can I just make a correction? Isn't it supposed to be 2021, 2022?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you.
I was just looking at the, so like volleyball and stuff, they don't have it, or it's,
For boys. One's a comes a boy, one's a
oh, the junior high, that's, sorry, I was looking wrong. Never mind.
What does the X mean versus the check?
The X.
Just it wasn't checked.
Correct, I would entertain a motion to approve the WIA membership.
I move to approve the 2021-2022 WIAA membership. Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to approve the 2021-2022 WIA membership. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Membership is approved. All right, consideration and approval of student employee compensation.
Okay, just threw this out there for consideration. The student employment that we have, we typically hire 2 custodial students to work in the custodial department, and then 1 in the food service department. A couple of years ago, it's been a little while, but we would hire 1 in the IET department as well. So just a couple kids, like I said, 2 in custodial, 1 in food service, and then 1 in IT. We haven't done the IT one in a while, but typically we've opened it up to juniors and seniors, and our current rate is $8.25 an hour, and we've had to open it up to freshmen through seniors just because we haven't had the interest, and I think there's just too many positions around that are drawing kids that it's hard to be competitive with that low of compensation rate. So I'm proposing, I'm obviously open to whatever you guys want to talk through, just arbitrarily pick $10 an hour just because I feel like that'd be kind of a competitive range for us to try to draw more interest with kids. And then we also recognize through the custodial department, some of those, we hired 3 this year rather than 2 to try to split up the hours and not burn the kids out. Because it does get long, and it does get, some of the stuff is, physical, but not ridiculously physical, but it is, they're moving around all day, so they do get worn out. So we don't want to burn them out. So proposing a $10 per hour rate, compensation rate for the student employee. You guys have any questions?
Yeah. Do we need an official vote?
Yeah, if you would, that'd be great.
I move to approve the $10 compensation for student workers.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to increase the student employee compensation to $10. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, next, the review of the 2020-2021 AGR Sage end of year report.
Okay, so that's in there, but it is stapled, so you'll have to pull it out. But it's right after the WIA contract. And then Mr. Peterson's gonna share about that.
Got it in front of them before I start.
Ms. Meyer, there are some if you wanted them. Okay.
I'm up early.
Yeah. You don't have to.
Before we start looking at them, does anybody have any questions about AGR and what it is anymore? I mean, I know we revisit it quite a bit now every year, twice a year. So, and just as an aside, we're actually just in the process of re-upping our 5-year contract, because this is the end of the 5 years, and then we re-up and submit a new application. So, just a side note, we've been working on that this spring. So anyway, if you remember when we looked at it in January, we noted how a lot of kids came in and the fall testing was, a little lower than sometimes you'd normally see, and we attributed that to the spring learning loss and everything. So I think so our goal is for by the end of the year to have 80% of students at grade level benchmark, which is a pretty ambitious goal to have 80% get there. So so there's reading and math for the 4 grades, K, 1, 2, and 3. So there's 8 possibilities. So 3 out of the 8 hit the 80% mark. However, every single 7 out of 8 had basically almost double-digit growth or more. So I think we saw some really nice growth in a lot of this. If you look at kindergarten, especially the kindergarten reading, 23% increase. Kindergarten math, different story, which is interesting. Same students and same instructors. And one thing that was interesting about the kindergarten math when I was looking at it is that we didn't, in 3rd quarter, they took data as well, and that doesn't really count using the 4th quarter, and it was almost a little bit there was some regression from 3rd quarter to 4th quarter in one aspect of what they tested, and I wonder if it was what it's due to. This is kind of an interesting thing that I noted, if it was just spring or if it was some of the exclusions that happened at the end of the year in that grade or what. It was just kind of interesting to note that. But and you can see 1st grade reading and 1st grade math, again, there's a double-digit increase. In 2nd grade, again, in both, in 2nd grade, we noted in the fall that they were, kind of a little bit lower than normal, and double-digit increase in.
So ideally, they'd be 80% in the fall as well, then.
Well, in the fall, not ideal. would they come in at 80? I mean,
Yeah.
I guess if they left first grade at 80, they'd come in and,
Yeah,
and
okay.
didn't lose anything. They'd come in second grade, but yeah, that doesn't happen too often. And remember, yeah, the benchmark changes from fall, you know, so if they've increased the number of kids hitting benchmark, it's not just they stay the same, but they actually, you know, increase because the benchmark changes. They're expected to know more in May than they are expected in September. So, and again, third grade, we kind of noted this last time we looked at it, the disparity between reading and math, you know, and it's the same students. And but again, a nice, you know, increase in the reading scores and the strong scores in math. So that's again what it is. And you know, we want to set a goal that's pretty rigorous. Doesn't necessarily mean you're always going to hit it, but when we revisited our goals for the new plan too, we talked at length about. We had several meetings with different committees to talk about. We want to change the type of goal that we have, and we're kind of sticking with a similar kind of goal because it's a good overall overview of how we're doing in reading and how we're doing in math. The STAR score, actually, we're going to keep doing the similar kind of thing, just with a new measuring tool next year. So, I don't know, does anybody have any questions about anything you see? And it's just, you know, it's just part of the accountability or the compliance from the state if you're going to have the grant, just to make sure that we're reviewing and that we have some kind of measure of how we're doing and that we're reviewing it with the teachers and reviewing it with the board. So, any questions? Okay. Yeah, and again, I just want to compliment all our teachers for the work they did to try to recover, you know, a lot of the lost, missed learning from the spring. So.
Any questions on that? All right. Yeah, is that it, Chris?
Yep, that's it.
All right, review of the Library Media Advisory Committee.
Okay, I just want to share with you guys, and I'll through email some of this got shared with you guys, but we created a library media advisory committee to go through purchases for common school funds. That's kind of the main function. That it would also, the committee would also function if there was a challenge with any of the books or material. In the event that there would be a challenge, we'd have one of the board members on that committee, and then we'd go through the policy 9130, go through, and that's on the second bottom of the second page. We'd follow the steps that's part of our board policy, but just have kind of administrative guidelines in writing. I also think this gives more transparency, some checks and balances across the district, and then allows the parents or anyone the opportunity to have a avenue to go through this process. So I feel like it's puts the district, you know, like I said, transparency, but also in a better place to have some checks and balances with, you know, what we have going on, and it lays it out for us so there's no questions as far as what the process would be. So that the first three pages are just really just kind of what would happen and what the function of the committee is, you know, as far as the selection of materials, the challenges, and then the disposal of materials and how that all plays out. So we have that. Then in the next document, the fourth paper is just this is what they would use for a request for reconsideration if there were to be a challenge. This is the process, or this is the form that would be used for anybody that does have something that they feel is questionable, that they would fill this out, it'd be submitted to the district, and then we'd go to our administrative guidelines and follow the process. Then the last document is a guide for the committee as far as you know, what the criteria is for the challenges and how it would be determined whether or not to remove or you know, kind of talk through and give guidance to the committee when they're going through that, so that checklist would allow the committee to have that kind of create dialogue within the committee to talk through, you know, if it were an item that should be removed or not removed. So just wanted to share with you guys kind of what we have been doing with that. Actually, the last two pages, the second page also has is part of that checklist as well.
So is this committee, if like there's a conflict with something, is that?
Part of that is, yeah, and then part of it is just the purchasing the common school fund money. We get I don't know, 30 to 40,000 range, kind of ballpark that we get every year for spending money for the library, both the libraries. So it's just a process to review and look through the purchases and have a committee go through and approve all the purchases. So it's before it hits the POs and before it hits the board approval process. So yeah, it's part of the challenge, but it's also part of the review and purchasing process too, that the committee would function as. So a selection committee, I guess you could call it too.
So do you need to name a board member to the committee?
No, we'd only have a board member involved if there were to be a challenge. So if someone challenged something and it got to that point, then we'd have, I think it's one board member, and then we'd use the library committee as part of that process. Invite one of you guys, or whoever wants to be a part of that process, to go through it with the committee, and then make a decision based on that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys have any questions with the documents themselves? Okay. So no action or anything.
Okay.
Just
Next,
wanted to share.
consideration approval of access control purchase.
Okay, so shared the document with you. The UHL document was a quote that we're looking at doing, and that is the door locks ultimately is the main chunk of the cost, but it is. So we'd be transitioning from Banco, who we currently use, to UHL, and we'd be updating our access controls, so the door locks and the buzzing system. So some of the hardware, but most of the hardware would remain, and it'd just be the system that we're using that's transitioning over. So I was hoping, and I gave you the guys that quote. There's two different options that we were kind of looking at too with the same company. So the second page gives you the breakdown of how much it costs per building. And then there's some additional stuff, like an additional, like our buzzing, the unit that the main offices use. It has a little screen where you can see, has a camera where you can see the person. It's another one we'd be adding to the junior, senior high as part of that process, or as part of the quote as well.
Who are you using now? Or?
So
We
is
use-
cameras only at the front doors?
We use Banco. There's cameras so that we have one of the camera systems. They're like, I don't know, they're like a little screen like this at Mrs. Labry's desk.
Yeah.
And then we have one at Mrs. Carnick's and Miss Norby's desk.
Okay.
And then we have some at the elementary too. I don't know, do we have one or
The
two over
button you
there?
push is on the outside, so
Right.
there's one at each
Yeah.
door.
Yeah, the
And there's
exterior
cameras
cameras.
at every door to get into the school?
No,
No.
just there's two cameras in this building and one over there.
Just at the main entrance where
Yeah.
the public comes in.
So
Okay.
there's, at the district office there's a camera, and then the main high school office here.
There's other security cameras, but not to get into the building.
Yeah, these are just the cameras specific to when you hit the button to be
Okay.
buzzed in. It
Okay.
initiates,
But
it
there's
turns on the
security
camera.
cameras at all the doors, right?
I think so.
Yeah, almost every door has.
But this
Cameras.
doesn't cover security cameras.
Yeah, this is just where the buzzers, yes.
Yeah. So this is the buzzing, the door locks, and then the cameras that are initiated when you hit the buzzer to enter. So 3 access points between the two buildings.
So is this Banco not doing it, or they're doing a bad job, or just wondering?
I can speak to that.
Okay. Go for it.
Well, since Bo's not here.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if you want me to.
Go ahead.
Well, they were, when we did the remodeling project at the
Mhm.
elementary school, Banco was a big, and they bid on the security cameras and the door locks and the sound system and everything. And so this was part of the package. And I would say that, there's been some frustration.
Less than
with
desirable.
door locks. It's just
Yeah.
compared to our old system was so much simpler and easier for Joy to operate and,
Sure.
to manage, and I know Bo's been frustrated too, and we have, so yeah.
So Bo,
Customer service isn't always that great.
No, there's been a lot of frustration.
so Bo likes this one, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've yet to meet anybody in the building that's been pleased with Banco.
Okay.
I mean, everybody's been frustrated with their customer service and willingness to come out here.
This would come from this year's budget?
Yeah.
So is it the high school takeover plus the elementary plus option 1 and option 2?
Yes, it'd be for sure the high school takeover and head end, the elementary school takeover, and then it'd be between option 1 and option 2, which if you look at the price range with option 1 and 2 are pretty minimal compared to the
Yeah.
overall cost.
Yeah.
So
Can I ask what the difference is between 1 and 2?
yeah,
Looks like 1 is the video piece and 2 is the moving the reader, and then the new hardware. So I think you'd want 1 and 2 if you're talking about the new video piece. I think it's all of it that we're.
yeah, but I think you're right. But I think option 1 and 2 aren't committed to the main purchase. So I think I did misspeak, but we wouldn't be guaranteed option 1 and 2. Those were just as part of option. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2. It'd be an additional. You guys see it? An additional.
So like,
It's
so like
really
the
fun.
videos is an additional 1,700 and then getting
It's
that.
probably an additional unit because in
Yeah.
the school office, there's only one, and if Heather's happens to be gone, Kristen's gonna get up and walk over to let somebody in.
Yep.
Same at the elementary. It's by Mona's desk, and then
Yep.
somebody has to get up and
Yeah.
walk over there.
And I believe the AI phone submaster video, I think that's the camera
That's
unit
the
that
one.
we're looking at. So yeah. So yeah, I did misspeak. So overall, it would be all 4 of those items.
Okay.
And then like in option 2, that move existing reader from one door to
Yep.
the new door. So the one of the doors coming in by the music department, there's no reader there. So I think we can use one of our current readers and have that shifted over. We just have an extra one, I guess, that we can use it. So
That makes sense.
Is there other people that do this, or we should be getting like another quote, or maybe you kind of did from Banco, or that would be my only question. Or are you really happy with these guys?
no, and we certainly could get another quote. We explored it last year.
Maybe there's just not that many people into it.
Yeah, and I could look into that if you guys want. I certainly can.
I think usually we see 2 quotes on
Yeah.
almost everything.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
does that have to be done by like the end of the month or something, or as far as the budget stuff? So if you could email us or something.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, if we want to get in
Yeah.
before July 1st or
Yep.
June 30th.
If that, then I could probably just
Can I
email
ask
you
if
guys.
we use an ESSER funds?
If we did, I mean, that would be,
Then it doesn't matter.
yeah, then it wouldn't matter if we did ESSER 2 or 3. Why don't we do this? I'll get Bo to get another quote, and then kind of based on that, I can email you
Sure.
guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll come back to that one next
We'll
time.
Table it. Yep.
Yep. All right, next, consideration approval of home-based education participation.
Okay, so the next page, I give you a letter from a family who recently moved to the area. They're looking for a request to have their oldest child take 2 classes at the junior senior high school. So it would require board approval, but I gave you the kind of the breakdown as far as like the state statute and what DPI has in your notes. So this would be a request for 2 freshman level classes, I believe, and then possibly some 7th grade classes. So on our end, as far as the school, of what I'm looking for is just approval, and then it'd be based on our availability and more of the classes, how much room is in the classroom, in the class as well. And then they're also, as part of that request, looking for approval to participate in athletics. Past practice, we have not. You guys have always approved every request, because we figure once we get them foot in the door for a little bit, then there's a higher level chance, that likelihood that we'll keep them and keep getting them into the district more and more.
Okay, we need approval for that?
Yep.
move to approve the home-based education participation request.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the home-based education participation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. All right, next, discussion of the 2021 annual meeting.
Okay, so our annual meeting, we typically do the fourth Monday in August, which that would mean for this year, if we do the same thing, it'd be August 23rd, and we've been doing 7 p.m. For that. So just threw it out there for discussion.
Yep, I like it.
Did we move it up
Did we
last
move it
year
to
to 6?
6:30 or 6?
I feel like that too.
Because I think we had like a
Last-
half-hour meeting.
Yeah, I think you're right.
If we needed it, I think one year.
I think we did move it earlier.
To 6:30 last year?
Yeah, did we have one last year? Yeah,
Yes, we did.
Yeah. I just feel like I feel like we did too.
I don't think it was 7. I questioned whether it was 6 or 6:30.
I got it on my calendar at 7 actually, from last year. I don't remember.
I feel like we were here early.
Yeah,
At
we had a
6.
meeting, we had to approve some stuff before that, I think, but I think it was, I think he's right, I think it was at 7.
The document's at 7.
There's a special board meeting at 6:30.
There you go.
That's why you're here.
So
That's what I had.
open to move it anytime you guys want. It's your meeting.
I think 7's fine.
I think if we want to try to get people here, to
Yeah.
let them have supper first would be beneficial. Even though that will come, but
Pizzas and cookies here.
food
We need to
provided.
advertise that.
Yeah.
So do we want to stick with 7?
Yep.
Okay. August 23rd we're good with?
Yep.
So the fourth Monday, which is August 23rd at 7 p.m.
Would it be possible at that to do a new teacher introduction? Maybe that would get some people to come too, since we have so many new staff people this year, to see if they could come and just, I am the new math teacher, I'm from here, or give a little ditty about themselves.
Sure.
I mean, I didn't meet Mr. Wallace for like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Still.
As you know,
I know sometimes, years ago, it might have even been before Mr. Ernst was here, but we did in kind of the first meeting in September. I just know like that board meeting, sometimes some of the new people, they're not even like settled here, or they're kind of not even living in
The
Clear Lake,
23rd
or-
meeting?
Yeah, that's just the thought. I think we did it like after school started, then they were kind of on their
Good
feet.
point.
So,
yeah, that's the hard part, is they might not be in
Here.
yet.
yeah.
But I would still see it as a poll for the
I
annual meeting.
try to get
new
more
staff.
people to come, I think.
I don't know, ask that, or even the new.
Otherwise, I
principal.
like the idea of September, the first meeting in September, they'll be here.
But that just, it doesn't matter to us. I mean, if
Right.
we can't get them, my
No,
point
I
was
see.
to meet parents and
Sure.
to get more parents there. I think it's great if we can meet them still in September, if that doesn't
Yeah.
work. But I think with so many changes, it would be a draw for families maybe to come and see the new people.
Sure. We could
Yeah,
certainly
stick-
try it.
Right, you
See
can-
who shows.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I met Mrs. Wallace when she came in here with the instruments. And that was, that was strange. That
Yeah.
was months after.
All right, next, J, approval of board policy 9130, public requests, suggestions, or complaints.
Okay, so we have 2 policies on the docket. First one. It's policy 9130, so the only thing I'm looking for this one is at the very end, the last page, so the 3 of 3, the very last paragraph, looking to remove that from board policy 9130. So it's got a little line through it too on your copy.
In the back.
Should be right after that family, this letter. Any questions? No.
What are we moving for? Just like,
So, what did you say? Why?
Yeah.
So it contradicts. So in the policy, it articulates what would and like why things would be removed. So I don't think it's needed. But then the main piece is the committee does have the authority to which one of the board members would be part of to remove it. So it doesn't make sense to say that it has to have board action when it says the committee is making the decision to remove the challenged item.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
So then the next process would be if someone did challenge it, one of the board members would be on the committee. Let's say the committee would say, yep, it needs to be removed. Then it's removed. Then the next step would be for that person or group of people to challenge it. Then the challenge would be a process then to go to the entire board, and then it would go to the entire board. With this in place, it doesn't make sense to, there'd be no appeal process if you didn't strike this. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It does.
Okay.
I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve policy 9130.
Oh, second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to approve board policy 9130 with removing that last paragraph.
Yep.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Approval of board policy 2522, libraries.
Okay, so this is one we tabled before. So I'm proposing that we leave the major goals in there, and then the A through H, that those would be the goals of the district. I mean, they're fairly generic and as far as what they are saying we're going to be doing as a district.
Do we have late fees for books?
I took them away.
I didn't think so.
Damaged and lost fees.
Yes. Okay. That makes sense.
Where do you see late fees?
It says fines. Students may be assessed fines for the late return of borrowed materials or damage or loss. So that's what I should have received fines, but I'm like, I never have, so I'm
Gotcha.
questioning whether we have those.
The elementary never had them for late
Okay.
fees. The high school did, and then we reduced it, and then I just took them away.
Okay.
It was, kids weren't checking out because they didn't want to get a late fee.
Yeah,
But
which contradicts the whole purpose of having a library.
if they could pay for a quarter, they had $50 in late fees, they could pay for a quarter on quarter day, but they still didn't want to check. It was fun.
You made the library a scary place with
I know.
fines. Okay, I think it looks good.
So are we taking the fine part out because it's not in the student handbook?
Which paragraph are you guys
The
in?
second page, very bottom,
last.
right before the Neola numbers.
So should it be assessed fines for damage or
But
loss?
for the damage or loss.
Yeah, right, so take out for the late return.
But it says may, so
Yeah.
it doesn't mean you have to.
Yeah.
It would allow you to change your handbook without having to
Oh.
change your
Yeah.
We-
board policy.
Mercy wants the latitude.
The may.
Marcy
the
got
may
someone that she
versus-
needs to get some money out of.
I move to approve policy 2522.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to approve board policy 2522 libraries. Are those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Next, superintendent notes.
I should say a couple things I wanted to mention. I shared with you guys over email, and then I threw it in your book, your board packet book. Not part of your board packet, but I just threw it in your folder. Just the Friends of Education Award that we are going to be implementing as a district. I think it'll be a neat way to recognize the individuals, one individual each year that we have that's really been, an asset to the district and has impacted our students in our district in a positive way. So we'll have a committee in place, and then we'll vote on it, and then we'll recognize them each year. So I think it'll be neat. I emailed it out to staff, requested for this first year. We'll do it. We'll ask for all of the applications to be in by August 1st, and then we'll recognize them at the beginning, that individual or couple, if it is a couple, at the beginning of the school year next year. So I know I shared that with you guys in email, but I just wanted to say it at the open session as well. Any questions?
Good idea.
No? All good? Okay. So that was one thing. Then the next thing, just wanted to share the end of the year. We had a great end of the year. We were able to open up, many of the things that we have for the end of the year, like the elementary track and field day, and a lot of the little things that we have that are on campus, like egg drop, at the younger age. A lot of the concerts, the graduations, the prom, the JK prom, sixth grade graduation, and it was just really nice to have some normalcy. And a lot of things going on all at the end of the year. We tried to cram everything in right at the end of the year to try to make sure that we were giving opportunities to all the kids at all the levels. So there was a lot of excitement in both buildings at the end of the year. So it was a really good year. And I said this to the staff at the end, but it really was a successful year because of the collaborative group effort, not just one category of teachers or administrators or support staff or school board. It was 100% a collective efforts of everyone and our community and parents as well. So I know it created a lot of frustrations with the different exclusionary criterias, and I know in all of our own households we've all had tears in our own households of kids. Even my own kids, my one on his birthday missed sixth grade graduation. But overall it was, I think everyone really recognized what we were dealing with and responded really well, and I feel very lucky to be part of the Clear Lake district and community. And I speak more as a parent even than as an administrator, because I think that goes a longer way as a parent. I just feel very thankful that my kids were able to experience what they were able to experience this year. So as I said to everyone at the staff meeting, thank you, but I'd like to say that publicly too. We had just a lot of people working hard from the very beginning, and it wasn't just our admin team doing it. I mean, you guys were part of the meetings, our teachers were part of the meetings, our support staff were part of the meetings. It was a lot of meetings, a lot of implementing, a lot of changing and looking at what's working, what's not working, what are the criteria that's changing, and things that were being communicated to us that we had to quickly change on a dime and implement something else to make it work. And it really was a collective effort. So thank you to the entire Clear Lake School District and community. It was a very successful year, I think. And then we had a huge kickoff to summer school, which was fun to, we didn't have summer school last year, and it was just the excitement of summer school was in the building. And a huge thank you to Mr. Peterson and Mrs. Weiss and the whole crew, Mrs. Johnson, Mrs. Roble. Who am I missing? And then the teaching staff, and support staff that implement everything and get it going, because it doesn't just happen overnight. There's a lot of planning and preparation that takes place prior to, and we really do have, the Clear Lake has a really neat summer school program. It has some academic components as well, but it also has a lot of just fun components where we're getting kids active and getting them learning about different things, not necessarily all classroom things. There's all kinds of stuff, like the fishing is definitely one of the most popular ones that the kids.
My nephew caught a 2-foot bass the other day.
That's awesome. So it was neat to have
Best
that.
one I've ever seen at fishing class.
It's nice to have that going, and there was a lot of excitement in the building. Even though majority of them are the same kids that were just you're not left for a day or two and then they're back, but the excitement is still at a higher level, just because they're excited to be going to summer school. So, and then the Friends of Education was the last thing that I wanted to share. So that was it. We have, like you said, we have a lot of new staff coming in the doors. We're going to be introducing Mr. Malberg, whose contract starts July 1. The principal in the junior senior high building. So some communication is going to be going out to families regarding that in July. And then we'll be communicating out on Facebook all of our new employees and hires, and get some faces on the social media as well to share who our new hires are going to be in the building. And I'm excited for the 21-22 school year.
Do we still have quite a list of positions left to fill?
We have a couple, but we're winding down. We've got 2 special ed positions. We have a elementary and junior senior high. We have a part-time general music choir position. Title I position hanging out there. Athletic director position hanging out there. Am I missing anything? That's it.
Maybe para.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have some more support staff
Yep.
positions this summer.
So I've been very pleased with the hiring process so far. We've had I'm excited about who we're bringing into the district and the candidate pool that we've been able to draw for all the positions. I've been thankful for. So.
But everyone's looking to hire everywhere. You go to any gas station or it's nuts.
Any school?
Schools are the individuals that I've been talking to, it's worse than very similar, if not worse than Act 10 kind of impact on education and the transient, just the movement that you're seeing across.
Just not a lot of new kids coming out of college, I imagine. Is that part of it?
Yeah, I think the programs, and I think people are dealing with similar stuff that we're dealing with. You have people that are leaving the profession altogether, people that are retiring just because they're can retire and it's a good year to retire, and then others that are looking elsewhere to just change it up.
Yeah, there's been a dramatic reduction in the number of kids going into education.
Yeah.
Since Act 10, there's research on it. It's like a 40% reduction.
Yeah, and the licensures, clearly speak to that too, as far as the change in licensures and what they're accepting and allowing to take place is it's very very different than even just a couple of years ago. So, but as far as what the Clear Lake is concerned, I've been very pleased with all of the hires, and I'm excited about the new hires that we're bringing in the district for next year so far.
Well, do you guys got anything else? Future agenda items.
We have the big one is going to be the 21-22 preliminary budget. That'll be on the next board meeting agenda. Then we also will be doing an update on the seclusion and restraint numbers, which I don't believe we had any. I don't want to misspeak, but if we did, it was very limited. So we'll go over the seclusion and restraint numbers, and then the approval of the academic standards, kind of the main 3 that I can think of.
More policies too.
Yeah, we'll do policies as well.
You'll have another quote hopefully for the security stuff.
Yep. That's it for me.
You guys got anything else? I'd entertain a motion.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.